Of course I'm not ready. How are you guys doing this morning? I hope everything is well. If you are new here, welcome. We are here for our uncut episode of Which Bitch Tarot Podcast. As usual, as I always promise, one day, it's not. I really hope I'm juiced up enough. I don't have my splitter with me. It's a little chaos. A little chaos. What do we think about that? Sorry. One day. One day. And I don't know, like, I need your guys' help. Like, somebody please help me. My teeth look so yellow from this coffee today. I swear I brushed them. Anyway. I literally cannot find a microphone that has a C output. A C output is like the new iPhone outputs. And like, bitch, I can't find it. And it's starting to drive me fucking crazy. Because I have to go live on my fucking tablet, and that's why we always lose connection. So anybody out there, help me. I need to find a C output microphone that has a C cord. Like, that's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. Don't look at me. There's one thing that I want to look at. I'm feeling spicy today, and the universe sees it. The universe is like, all right, bitch, calm your happy ass down. I'm just like, I'm out here. I'm living my best life. We're trying to. Okay. Okay. Quiet on the set. Quiet on the set. And I've been looking at my analytics, so my episodes are going to be, like, my actual recorded episodes are going to be started to be a little bit shorter. Because, let's be honest. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Because let's be honest, like, I'm not about to. I know that there are people that listen to the whole thing, but I'm only averaging, like, 16 minutes. So, 808. Confirmation. It's 808. So, yeah. Quiet on the set. Please. Turn this brightness way down. We got 12% battery. And I hope it's been sounding good. Grand Rising. Hey, stupid. Welcome back to another episode of Witch Bitch Tarot Podcast. If you are new here, welcome. I'm your host, Kristen. You can call me Witch or you can call me Bitch. It really doesn't matter. Just put some respect on that shit. I do have a slight disclaimer. If you are easily offended or faint of heart, bitch, I am not for you. I am not your reader, your guide, your interpreter, your numerologist, your astrologer. I cannot help you with where you are at on your journey today. That doesn't mean it cannot change and it will not change. I'm okay with that. You have to be. Today is May 18th, 2022. It is our 138th day of the year. We have 228 days left this year. The moon is waning in Capricorn. It's about 17.5 days old, 92% full. Our color of the day is orange, which we know is about attraction, success, abundance, even protection. Today we honor Mercury, so let's make sure that we're working on our communications and we're not talking out of our ass like a fucking dingleberry and we know what we're saying. Some great incense to burn today: storax, mace, sandalwood, and we'll get into sandalwood a little bit later. Some great words today: divination, communication, knowledge, wisdom, study. For the Farmer's Almanac, today is a good day, astrologically speaking, energetically speaking, to potty train, wean, mode to slow growth, prune trees, and castrate animals. I hope everybody is having a great morning. My morning's been chaotic. I want to punch somebody in the dick, but to each his own. We can't all have it rainbows and butterflies sometimes. I'm also feeling like this residual leftover energy of the full moon. Good and bad. It's like the dust is, it's like, you know, when you feel the dust is settling, it's kind of like that. Like I feel the dust settling. So, it's chaotic, crazy cool. I had to move the microphone. Today, I don't have a crystal of the day. We're getting in some books. We're going to get our nose in some books. Since you guys are averaging 16 minutes, we're going to keep it short and sweet. I'm going to come out of the Greenwich... What the fuck? The Greenwich craft book. So it has all of our herbs and our flowers and different things and our incense so we can gain a little bit better knowledge. I want to do sandalwood and I want to start doing the herbs and the incense that I say that we can burn daily, just so we can put it in our catch and we can see or we can gain the knowledge and have better understanding. Because I can say mace, this, storax all day, every day, but if you guys don't have the information on it, then what the fuck is the point? How can you then further educate somebody else? So today we're going to do sandalwood. The botanical name is Santalum album. Santalum, album. 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 alb Please correct me if I'm wrong, because I probably am. It is of the element water. Astrologically speaking, it is of the moon. The energies that it brings are love, past life, protection, healing, sensuality, beauty, meditation, wishes, spiritual cleansing, enlightenment, grounding. For magical uses or holistic uses, this lovely fragrance of sandalwood is welcome in spirit space around the world. It's burned as a sacred incense, and the oil is used to consecrate objects as well as in baths and perfumes. The wood is often carved into beads and used to make malas or strings of prayer beads for meditation. This white wood is associated with the moon and its calming spiritual energy. So that is sandalwood. I guess in honor, even though today's an orange day, well, no, today's a white day, but the color of the day is orange. So we'll say orange and white today, which makes sense. I also wanted to get into the power of a basic white candle, because I saw this TikTok, and this bitch was like, I just started expanding my spirituality. The verbatim, this isn't word for verbatim. I just started expanding my spirituality, and it's so expensive to be spiritual. She was like, I got all of these candles, all of these herbs. She obviously made the rookie mistake that all of us have made and bought like a pound of or 16 ounces of lavender, because we don't think it's that much, but it'll last you like a fucking whole year, 2 years. And she was like showing how much she spent and all of that, and I'm just like, girl, what the fuck? Like, I mean, I'm glad that you have the ability to do that, but if we attain the knowledge that we need in order to actively do our craft, or to listen to our intuition to actively do our craft, we shouldn't be spending thousands of dollars. She spent thousands of dollars. We shouldn't be spending thousands of dollars. And if we do, it's like, do we really need all of that stuff if we're putting that much out? Like, she bought like $600 worth of crystals. It was a whole thing, and I was just like, wow, what is the world coming to? Long story short, I just wanted us to gain a better understanding of candles, and what white candles can do, and how they are all around like the shit. Like, I say this, take it how it resonates. 96% of the time I use white candles, no matter what I'm doing. The other 4%, mind your fucking business. But 96% of the time, I'm using white candles. Okay? White. So now I'm going to come out for the Candle Magic for Beginners. Spells for Abundance, Love, and Healing by Mystic Dylan. White. The absence of color makes white one of the strongest colors in spell works and beyond. The color is connected to the spiritual realm, innocence, wonder, purity, and new beginnings. White is sacred to Hathor, Curdwin, Isis, Chango, and the triple moon goddess, and connected to the moon and all 5 elements: earth, air, water, fire, and spirit. Since it is the same color of milk, it is often linked to life, fertility, and nourishment. In many folk magic practices, white is known as the highly symbolic color of the god of goodness and balance. White is also the color of bone, linking it to death and structure. The color of snow. White can be used to freeze other energies or disturbances, and as protection from outside forces. In general, you think that the color white as a blank you can think of the color white as a blank canvas, ready to be transformed. It is the beginning and the end. White can be utilized in spells for clarity, protection, meditation, and angel magic. Light a white candle to attract inspiration and creativity, or create a sacred space. So, as I was saying, like, you can do so much with white. You just have to set your intention. One white candle spell that I really fuck with in this book, and it's on page 99. If you know, you know. It's bad vibes banishment, right? Like, let's face it, we all know that there's hating ass bitches in this world. And you can't necessarily fight negativity with more negativity. So we just remove it. This spell or this banishment or this candle lighting only requires 4 tea light white candles for, and that's for the cleansing, 4 matches for banishing, and then salt for protection. And we know when we talk about the number 4, it's about grounding. It's about kind of staying where you're at. So to perform the spell, you're going to arrange the 4 candles for the 4 corners of your living space or your living room. Starting from the back of your house, the furthest, and then you're going to say the chant. If you guys want this, I'm not going to read the whole thing. If you want it, please reach out to my Instagram and I will give it to you. You're going to sprinkle the salt around the tea light. Sulfur and salt absorb the bad, dry up what's painful, negative, and sad. And then you're going to do that to the remaining 4 corners. Then you're going to let that hoe just burn out. When you feel like your space is cleansed, collect your tea lights and matches and toss them in the garbage away from your property. I think that's also something that a lot of people don't pay attention to. Like, when we're disposing of our spell works, like the car wash next to my house, they know me. They're like, what is she throwing away in this bag? Mind your fucking business. Mind your business. That's it. When we're doing like banishing and like releasing things and things of that nature, we want to dispose of it off of our property or away from our sacred space. It's like if you go take it downstairs in the trash can and put it in the trash can, it's just going to fester that energy in one spot and then continue to spread. God, dog. You may continue to cleanse your house in other way. After that, you can continue to cleanse your house with other rituals and tools that you like. But this spell is to absorb and trap negative energy that could be lingering. So there's that. Today I will be using the Kawaii Tarot 78 card deck of magic and cute. This is one of my first decks that didn't have like traditional or we'll say traditional artwork. It was this one and then there was another one. But I fuck with it and I like using it. Do I suggest this deck to a beginner? Fuck no, but like to each his own. Like, I would never teach one of my tarot classes with the Kawaii deck and with a lot of the other decks that I have. So this is for the more advanced. The message isn't, though. We got the 8 of Wands in reverse. So we know that the 8 of Wands is about movement. It's about change. It's about creating distance, whether for a positive or to literally just swiftly remove your ass from a situation. It could be about success. It could be about disruption. It all just depends. That the 8 of Wands to me is a card that it just depends on where and how it's placed in your spread. But this ultimately is about creating distance, or it could even, to me, represent a long distance relationship. But today we got it in reverse. So pace yourself, delay being overly busy. The Eight of Wands in reverse can suggest that we are feeling overwhelmed. There may be too much going on, or perhaps you have too much on your plate. If you believe you have taken too much, find the source of what makes you commit to too many things and do what it takes to fix it. To regain control of the situation, avoid adding more to your workload. When the Eight of Wands reverse shows up in a reading, it can be a warn of significant delay. Long story short, don't bite off too much. Don't bite more than you can chew. Is that how the fucking phrase goes? Don't bite more than you can chew? I don't think that's right, but we'll continue. Lastly, I'm going to come out of, I feel like I'm at church when I be doing that. I'm like, I'm going to be coming out of the Green Witchcraft book. I'm going to be coming out of, no. Make the Most of You by Patrick Lindsay. I'm going to do an excerpt. I love this book because I always would write in it when I was using it, like when I was going through like life. The last time that I wrote in this was 4/14/18 on this particular page. So page 72, Making the Most of You. Choose your words. Observe how lazy many are with their speech. Separate yourself from the mob. Speak with precision. Read voraciously. Study the masters. Listen intently to the great orators. Learn their patterns. Discern their structure. Use your words to their full potential. Words are, of course, the most powerful drug used by mankind. Rudyard Kipling, and they said that in 1860. Oh, excuse me, they were alive 1865 to 1936. I've also written on the 14th of April in 2018 in this book. Sometimes you sound silly when you speak out of turn or give advice that is not needed. ASMR. Bye, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for listening. You know I couldn't do this with you. I couldn't do this without you, and I wouldn't want to. Make sure you head over to witchbitchtarot.com to see everything I have to offer. Don't forget, I'm also accepting Afterpay now. Oh, as you know, hoes will be hoes. Bitches will be bitches. But you never know when it comes to witches. Which bitch is which? And no, I do not sell owls. So stop asking. Bye. Good episode. Wow. Good episode. Wow. Love this for us. What did you say? I saw your chat, but I couldn't read it. Live chat. How do I get it back? There we go. I can benefit from reading more. I just have to be serious about creating the habit. Here's the thing. I don't know about you, but the reason why I read is because literally, like my grandma could read, right? Like she was an excellent reader. I got my reading habit from my grandma, um, because she fucking loved to read, right? And she would always make us read. And it's because her mother was not legally allowed to. And at some points in my grandmother's life, she was not legally allowed to. So, like, that's for one, like the stories that my grandma's told me about like her reading or people like seeing her read in public. And it's like I should do nothing but like, I don't know. I don't know. Like I feel like we could potentially get touchy here really quick, but take it how it resonates. You never know what you get at Witch Bitch Tarot, right? Um People think that we are so far removed from Brown versus Board of Education, that we are so removed from like even like Martin Luther King and the Civil Rights Act. Like people think that we're so far removed from that because that's what we were taught like visually in our depictions. Like people think that we are so far removed from like Black people being able to vote, or even like women being able to vote. Like we're not. My uncle is still living, right? My uncle is still living and was in the very first segregated class in Topeka, Kansas. My mom was born the year I believe that Black people could legally vote. One moment. Like, that's why I'm like, people think we're so far removed, but like, bitch, like all of this shit has happened in our lifetime. Excuse me. And I think that like we need to put it into perspective. Yeah. I'm not gonna tell my mom's age, but like, you guys can look it up. Like, my mom was like born alive and kicking. And like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't, like, we remove ourselves. That's what I'm saying. Like, let me see when he was born. Cause like, I honestly think that like, my uncle that is still alive, and he's not even my oldest uncle that's still alive, is like older, or like a year older. Like, he was born in 1941. So he's like 5 years older than my uncle. So when people ask me, like, I know that this, like, we went completely left. But when people are like, damn, like, you read so much. Why do you read so much? It's like, I have to. Like, it was literally still in this lifetime that it was acceptable for Black people or people of color to have an education. Like, but because we have black and white pictures out, like, did you know the civil rights movement, like, all of those pictures are in color, but they published them in black and white in our textbooks to make it seem like it was longer ago. Like Betty White and Martin Luther King. Like Betty White was older than Martin Luther King, right? And that hoe just died. Like, the Voting Rights Act was in 1964. I'm not going to tell you when my mom was born, but like my mom was alive and kicking. Like that's not even like that's barely it's not even a whole entire like 65 70 years ago. Like my mom was alive and kicking when black people still weren't allowed to vote. My mother. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like we think we're so far removed, but like that shit literally was happening to our parents. My mom had me when she was an old lady. And like we don't like even some people like exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Aaron's like that was the year before I was born. Exactly. That's not like we don't realize it. Like this literally has happened to like okay, so Betty White was born January 1922. I'm trying to get Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was born in 1929. My grandma was born in 1928. Like who just died? Like Rosa Parks' whole ass just died, right? Like Rosa Parks just died in 2005. Like we forget like Al Sharpton, Reverend Jesse Jackson, like those motherfuckers were out here marching with Martin Luther King and now they're old as fuck still. Like those people are still fucking alive, bro. And like the reason why I called Rosa Parks her hoe ass, like yes, she did have things to happen and got things moving when we talk about the civil rights movement, right? But did you know that Rosa Parks was actually staged? Because it actually happened to a young girl a few weeks prior, but they didn't want it to get publicized and they didn't want to make it a big deal because she was like 15, she had 2 kids, she wasn't married. So they were like, okay, like this can blow it up. Like this can blow up, but we need to find the right person. So they chose and like she was a dark skinned, like, you know, she wasn't like of the beauty standards then. So they were like, okay, Rosa, you're going to do the exact same thing because she was more fair skinned. Because, like, also when we talk about colorism, right? Because she was more fair skinned, she was more acceptable in beauty standards. But, like, that's why I be like, Rosa Parks so ass, like, respectfully. But also, like, these are the things, like, that if we read, we find out. But, like, it's just, for me, I didn't have this realization until like, I think it was around my uncle's 70th birthday. And we got on the subject and then he was like, yeah, like, right? Right? We got on the subject and I was like, wait a second. And then like, you know, me and my brothers, like my family, like my mom always taught us like find the information, get more information than you need. Like, and Rosa Parks also worked at the NAACP, so they were like, she's the perfect candidate. But they don't tell you all anyway. But so then we started doing the researches. And like we were like, yo, mom, like you were alive and kicking when black people couldn't even vote. And like we like, and then that's when we like got on it. We were like, that's why like my grandma and my grandpa would make such a big deal about us going to vote, or them going to vote, or making sure that we took them to vote, because for a good portion of their life, like they were not allowed to vote. For 40 years, 40 plus years of my grandmother's life and my grandfather's lives, like they were not allowed to vote. Like their vote did not matter. That's just it. And that's why I'm like, we think we're far removed, but like, bitch, we're not. Like, that's why I'm like, y'all acting all good and sanctuary shit like that, but like don't forget how your grandmama was treating my grandmama. Don't forget how your granddaddy was treating my mom and my father and my aunts and my uncles. Like, don't forget. Like, we act like a like clean slate. Like, no, bitch, this is still in our lifetime. Like, you know the singer Leon Bridges? His aunt, or I don't know if Ruby Bridges is his aunt or his cousin. And I believe like she's still alive and kicking. Like, but we think we're so far removed. Like, Ruby Bridges is still alive, bro. Like, she's still alive and kicking. She was born in 1954. And this happened to her when she was like, what, 6 or 7 or 8 or 9, something like that. And she's in elementary school. That's a 6. So in 1960. Like, she's still alive and fucking kicking. Her nephew or her nephew or her... Gotta wait for it to connect. Wait for it to reconnect. Reconnect. Okay, we're good. This is what shook me. I had this realization also. It's like, okay, this happened in the 60s, right? I've been out of school for a while, but I was learning about this in like the early 2000s and in the 90s. So I was learning about this when it hadn't even been 50 fucking years. Like, now when people learn about it, they're like, oh, that was like 60 years ago, 70 years ago. My math is terrible, but you guys already know this. But like, think about when we were young and we were learning about it. Like, that shit literally was like 40, like 30, 40, 50 years ago. Like, we were closer to the incident. That's all I got for today. I know we went completely left. I don't give a damn. But that's why my mouth starts watering when people are like, "Oh, why do you read so much? Why do you have so many books?" That's why I read so much. It hasn't even been 100 years since it was like technically legal for Black people to read. That's why I read so much. My grandma wasn't given the luxury of doing what she loved and being able to read freely and openly. That's why I read so much. My grandmother's mother wasn't even legally allowed to read. That's why I read so much. But yeah. Yeah. You should start reading. You should start reading more. She had to recite the preamble before she could vote. Yeah. And like my grandma would tell us like crazy ass stories. Like my grandma would tell us crazy ass stories about when they would go and vote and like how other people, white people, we'll just call it what it is, how white people would like stop them or sabotage the polls or like their votes, because they used to like, it wasn't computerized, right? Like, so they would like fucking like burn their votes and shit like that. White people are crazy. I don't give a fuck. This is my channel. You came here to listen. And now let me be clear. There's a difference between white people and people who happen to be white. There's a difference. There's a difference. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Ted would never. For real, there is. Like, if you know, you know. Because I got some friends that happen to be white. My sister-in-law and her family happen to be white, you know? Right? There's a difference. There's a difference. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. We were bumping our gums for a while. I'll see you back here tomorrow.